Hello, it is our pleasure to introduce ourselves and the work we are doing on the Policy Working Group for the International and Canadian Child Rights Partnership. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that I come to you from Darugland, where the Wallumattagal peoples have cared for and nurtured this land and raised children on this land since the Dreamtime. Natasha Blanchet-Cohen and I lead the Policy Working Group with Amy Cooper's invaluable help. A little bit of background about me. I have been working in the children's rights field for over 25 years. I'm an academic at the Macquarie University Law School in Sydney, and my research focuses on international children's rights law, particularly children's participation and protection rights, juvenile justice, girls' rights, and Indigenous children's rights. Before becoming an academic, I worked as a social worker and then pursued a career as a lawyer, working for children's rights agencies such as UNICEF and Save the Children.
I work in Tiohtià:ke, also known as Montreal, on the unceded territories of the Kanien'kehá:ka, custodians of these lands and waters. I'm a professor in the Applied Human Science Department at Concordia University and have been working in the area of children's rights since the late 90s. I do applied research around community youth development, supporting and exploring the many facets of youth engagement and with Indigenous youth and organizations.
I also live and work on the unceded territories of the Kanien'kehá:ka. I am a human rights educator and a PhD student at Concordia University, exploring the intersections between educator identity and the practice of human rights education with young people. I'm a research assistant for the ICCRP Policy Working Group.
The purpose of the working group is to help advance research around how children and young people can influence and shape relevant law and policy to support child rights implementation. We focus on analyzing and exploring possibilities for children and young people to influence the development of laws and policy, and particularly the role of intergenerational partnership. As a working group, we have two key jobs. First, to analyze the data coming from the international case studies to understand how intergenerational relationships can transform legal and policy frameworks. Our second job is to share and engage with experts internationally, policymakers, researchers, and young people to really enhance children's participation in legislative and policy reform.
5 key questions drive the work we do on the Policy Working Group. The first question is, what are the bodies of laws and policies that seek to advance children's rights? The second question is, what are the notable gaps in children's rights, law and policy? The third question is, how are children and young people participating in law and policy making and change? And the fourth and fifth questions are, what are the opportunities for law and policies to be informed by children and young people? And what are the opportunities for intergenerational relationships to transform legal and policy frameworks? We're working on various different activities. We are sharing findings, we are exchanging and building community amongst practitioners and academics in the sector. We hold webinars, we write discussion papers and academic articles, and our activities will continue to evolve throughout the life of this project.
Members of the Policy Working Group are all in some way working towards the realization of children's rights through various institutions, organizations, and groups, whether it be through law reform, advocacy, or education work, or research partnerships. We meet online 3 or so times a year for just a couple of hours each time. Our members are based in many countries, including Canada, South Africa, and Australia. And we're always looking to widen the diversity of our membership. So if you're someone who is working on children's rights and/or are interested in how children's rights interact with policy, please reach out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we look forward to hearing from you.